All right, good evening. Welcome to Com 1. This is a very intensive class where we will be giving just really 3 major speeches over about less than 6 weeks. So we have a lot of work to do and a little bit of time, but let me tell you, if you can talk, you can speak. And I should know this because I had a speech impediment growing up. I had parents who did not speak English well. I had a lot of issues learning how to speak properly. And it was something that I kind of threw myself into. And now I still think I'm learning, but every time I speak, I think I can do something just a little bit better. So I hope that's how you are approaching the class, knowing that you will have to speak sometime in your life and that this is an opportunity to learn and grow. Communication skills being the #1 skill that employers want. So we're going to go ahead and start with a breakout. Those of you, I see some of you are not muted. I'm going ahead and muting you when you come up, just to make sure we don't have background noise. I'm going to go ahead and be putting you into a breakout room right away. And in that breakout room, I want one person to take notes, and I want you to tell us one thing about yourself that you didn't post on the video that people would be surprised to know. And here's one thing about me that you might be surprised to know. But when I was a teenager, I was in a rock group, very much like Chicago. And the name of our group was Concrete because we were solid. All right. And so I played several different instruments in that group, and we actually produced a record. I don't know if they still make records today. But anyway, people are always surprised to know that I was kind of a hippie in those days, musician, playing in bands, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be putting you all into a breakout room. Go ahead. You guys know how to do this? All right. You'll be assigned to a room. Click in on it and introduce yourself. 1 or 2 sentences, something that people would be surprised to learn about you. And then when we come back, we'll share the most surprising or unusual thing that people said out of the group. Okay. All right. All right, I'm assigning you guys. You'll be in small groups. Go ahead and go to your breakout rooms and tell us one surprising thing about yourself. Please put your camera on if you can. All right. So did you have some interesting conversations in your rooms? Yes. Sort of, kind of. All right, looks like everybody's back. So let's start with room 1. We had Abby, Claudia, and Luana. Hopefully I'm saying your names correctly, and if I'm not, please correct me. So one person, who's my spokesperson from that room? Abby, Claudia, Luana? Who's my spokesperson?
I think I'm speaking because I wrote, or who's speaking? Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, out of all her stories, Luana's was that she got a scar on her eyebrow from playing with a hammer when she was younger.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Room 2. Alicia, I'm not sure I'm saying her name right. Andrew, Carlos, and Colleen. Who's my spokesperson?
I'll do it because I remember. The most interesting thing was that Andrew knows Japanese, and I think that's really cool because I'm like really big into anime. My first tattoo here is anime, so I think that's really cool because I mean, I only know a second language, and my only other second language is Spanish. So learning something like Japanese, that's not something that I know a lot of people know how to do. So I think that's really interesting.
Very cool. Andrew, watashi wa reian desu. That's all I know. All right. All right, room number 3. Dean, Joshua, Fernandez, Emma, and Olivia.
Hi y'all. So what we found interesting was that Olivia is like currently at Disneyland right now. So yeah.
And she came to class. Wow.
Dedication.
Right. Very nice. That shows great dedication. All right, I'm gonna open up the floor now. How many of you, raise your hand if you've read the syllabus, you've looked through the modules, you've done anything at all online? Have you done anything? All right, good. You should have done something by now. What questions do you have about the class, the syllabus, the scheduling? I saw today somebody said, how long are the speeches? And on every assignment, it has the length of the speech. So for your first one, it's 5 to 7 minutes. That means no less than 5, no more than 7. If we don't have anybody drop the class, because right now we have like 35 people in the class, I might shorten that just because we don't want to listen to that many speeches. You don't have to listen to all of them, but you have to listen to at least a specific number, because being an audience is part of the class. So I might shorten it a little bit. But for now, all of the assignments have the speech, the amount of time required. Next meeting, almost all the meetings that we will meet from now on will be your chance to present to an audience. I highly encourage you to do that on Zoom. One is because we're becoming more of a Zoom society, right? A lot of companies going to working from home, so you get to practice in front of Zoom. Number one. Number two, you get a variety of opinions and feedback. I always think about going to the movies. You go to the movies and one person loves it and another person says that was a terrible movie. You both saw the same movie. It often happens with speeches, because speech making is an art and a science. It's a science in that there's a formula. You should have an intro, a body, and conclusion. It should make sense. It should be well supported. There's a lot of things about it that have to happen, but there's a lot that is just creativity. People having a really cool visual aid, having a different opening, surprising us by involving us in some way. So having more people will give you more feedback and help you to grow in your speaking skills. So what other questions do you have before we move on to the very, very short lecture we have today? What other questions do you have about the class? Anyone?
I have a clarification questions about the speeches.
Sure.
So if we were to come to the Zoom meetings, would we wouldn't need to post a video, right?
Correct. Yes, because I will be videotaping the whole Zoom meeting. So you get one take in front of the audience. It's pretty good. It's real world. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Hi, I have a confirmation.
Okay, go ahead. No, before I was going to say you can still post the video and come to the Zoom meeting too, if you would prefer to do that, but go ahead.
So we do need to do that assignment then, even though we're on the Zoom, the post about ourselves, the video.
Yes, that's a different assignment. That was for the first week, and the assignment for the speech is different. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And anytime you have questions, please, email me or reach out or put it in the discussion board. Now, I am teaching at 2 colleges. I have a job during the day, so I'm super busy. If I don't answer you right away, go ahead and email me again. Not right away, within a day. Go ahead and email me again. But make sure you remind me which class you're in, because I have different classes. I'm teaching in the business department, and I'm also teaching in business at College of San Mateo. So sometimes people ask me a question, and I'm thinking, I don't know which class you're in. Okay. All right. Other questions? All right, we're going to get started with a very, very short video and some activity, which I really love activities. So very, very short. And I will be posting this slide deck as well. You don't really have to take notes from the deck. So your first assignment is going to be an informative speech. Before we even get started, let's talk about nerves. Everybody gets nervous, including me. I really blew a speech very recently when I got way too nervous. And it was the first time that I was really intimidated by the person who spoke before me. And I thought, oh my goodness, I have to speak after him. And I mean, it wasn't horrible, but I know I could have done a much better job, and I let my nerves get in the way. Remember, it's 5 minutes of your life. You can do this, but find things that work for you. Get a good night's sleep, hydrate, practice your speech, have a topic you want to deliver. I always say we give a speech. It's a gift. It's a present. Think about something you want people to know and then deliver it to them. And they have that information for the rest of their lives. Think about a teacher you really liked. And why did you like that teacher? Because they gave you something. And every time you speak, you give people an idea, something to make their lives better, information that will help them to be a better person. So the more excited you are about your speech, the more excited your audience is going to be, and the better you'll do. So before you even deliver your speech, am I sharing? Hold on one second. Am I sharing? Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my video? Can you see it? All right, cool. Before you start, what is your goal? Is your goal going to be increased knowledge? Is it going to be clarifying something? Is it going to show the relationship between two things? Is it going to increase somebody's interest in a topic? What is your goal? And for your informative speech, you're just informing us. Are you going to demonstrate something? You'll be able to do this at the end, the final speech. You can demonstrate. Think Martha Stewart. Think cooking shows, how they demonstrate how to do something, how to trim a tree, or how to save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. I don't know if that's a great topic, but. Or are you going to persuade us? I'm very pleased so far with the topics that are coming into the discussion board, because for people get very confused on where's persuasion. Persuasion, I'm telling you what you should do. Here's a problem, here's how we solve it. Informative speech, I'm just giving you the information. Do what you want with it, okay? And finally, you'll have the three major types of speeches you'll do in this class are informative, special occasion, and persuasive. Special occasion, think a eulogy, think introducing someone to an audience, think any way that we're motivating people to listen and inspiring them in some way. So think about, what is it? You should be able to say this in your purpose. What is the audience to know or do after they hear your speech? So for example, somebody just wrote about serial killers today, and I thought that was a very interesting topic. I'm not going to use that as an example by doing their speech, but just at the end of my speech, the audience will know what factors contribute to someone becoming a serial killer. I really like that. Keep your purpose clear. How will I know I'm successful? Because people listen, because they participate. I have them participate, maybe raise their hand, do something. How are you going to get them to listen? Make sure you research. Every speech requires research. This upcoming one, minimum of 3 sources, not just .com, Google. You need to use the library databases. Part of this class is research, and you need to cite your source. So you might say, according to the National Organization for Serial Killers. I'm making that up, obviously. But you would have a source citation when you're citing your statistics or your quotes. And finally, always ask yourself, would this audience want to hear this topic? Do they already know about it? For example, some people wrote about physical exercise. Oh, we think we should talk about exercise. I don't think there's one person in the class who doesn't know that you should exercise. That's not giving me information I don't already know. Now, if you're going to talk about something specific like intermittent fasting or ketos or something, different that creates fat burning in your body, I might go for that. But just on exercise, not for a college audience. We already know that. So how will you build your speech? First, and what we did as a group, choose your topic, choose your purpose and your thesis, do your research, and then decide, how can I organize this information? Simple organization works the best. Start with 2 to 3 main points, no more than that. You only have 5 minutes. You can't tell us everything about a topic. So say, for instance, you choose a part of the world. Somebody wanted to choose Peru. There's so much we could talk about in Peru. Are you going to talk about the most famous areas of Peru? Are you going to talk about the culture, the people? Are you going to talk about weddings, wedding ceremonies? Choose 1 or 2 main points, not loads of them, and then support those points. Make them memorable for us. After you develop your body, that's when you do your intro and your conclusion. And that's about 20% of your speech, your intro and conclusion. Just about. Your body is about 80% of your speech. So think about the best way you're going to get somebody's attention. Ask a question, tell a story. There I was at the top of the mountain, and I looked down, realizing that one step would end my life. Where was I? At the top of wherever. And you get the audience interested in your speech. You establish your credibility by telling us how much you researched, or if you have done this your whole life, or if you're studying this. For example, one person wrote today that they're studying advertising. And if I'm talking to you about how advertising works, I could say, I'm an advertising student and I researched the speech, and I want to tell you how advertising makes, helps you to decide what products to buy, whatever I'm saying. Preview your speech. And at the end, we tie it all up. We say, in conclusion, in summary, this is what I told you. Tie it back to the beginning if we can. So remember, if you ever get the chance to stand on top of that mountain, remember what I shared with you today. All right, I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to go ahead and put you guys back into a breakout room. And I want you to, you're going to have this small group. You already have your topics. I want you to come up with 2 to 3 main points for your topic, or 2 things you could talk about under your topic. So for example, somebody chose sleep, which you might have noticed I knocked down like almost everybody's, because I've heard that topic like 1,000 times. But if somebody chose sleep, you could talk about 1, the REM cycle, and 2, what are the benefits of getting a good night's sleep? That's enough points. That's all you have to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and put you back in your room and give you about 4 minutes to come up. 4 minutes. I'm not going ahead. 4 minutes to come up with 2 to 3 points for your speech. So you're going back in your rooms. Go ahead. 2 to 3 points for your speech. So don't worry, I stopped the recording when we're in the breakout room. So what was just one example that someone is willing to share with us about the main points you might use in your speech? Who's willing to share that with us? Anyone? Don't want to give it away?
Well, for me, I decided to do Island of the Dolls. So I think like to start it off, I'll go like on the history of like how it became the Island of the Dolls, and then maybe go into, I don't know if I should do like fun facts in just like one section, or like pick 2 specific facts and then just like break those down.
Yeah, it depends on how much information is in each fact and how interesting you think the audience would be. Yeah, great. All right, I like that. Just remember that your main points have to be complete sentences, and you want to make sure in your preview you're going to say, and today I'm going to share with you a little bit about the history. You're going to gain our attention, maybe say, did you know? Or, give us something really exciting, or show us a picture and say, do you know where this is? And then you're going to say, my background is, I've done some studying, and today I'm going to share with you blah and blah, your 2 points. Let's start with my first point, a little bit of history. Really easy. That's the formula for speech making. It's just like a mathematical formula, right? You have your intro, you have your body, and your conclusion. Great. I love that. Claudia, I love that topic. Good, good, good. So what I said to a couple of people in the breakout rooms, if you're struggling with your speech, don't struggle. I have office hours on Mondays and Fridays, but I'm usually around every night. You'll see me if I'm on, you'll see me grading. So just pop in, just say, hey, can you talk for 5 minutes? And I'd be happy to help you. All right. All right. So I promised you today was going to be a short meeting. We're going to just go through the rest of the slides, and we're going to do one speaking practice for all of us, really short. Okay. Before we end, and you guys get extra credit for coming. You'll get not only credit for the rest of the class, will have to watch the video and answer questions. You don't have to answer any of the questions, and you'll also get extra credit for attending. How does that sound? Sound good? We lost somebody. I don't know what happened. All right. I have a screenshot of the first. I don't know what happened. We had 14 and now we have 13. All right. Let's go ahead. Maybe they decided to drop already. Uh-oh. All right. Choosing a topic. We already know that I have to approve topics. Why? Is because we had a fist fight after one of the topics discussed in my class when we were on campus, and I had to get called into the vice president's office because students were arguing about the topic. So from now on, all topics must be approved. Yes, an actual physical fight. So that's the main reason. think about what are you interested in, what the audience, I've been really pleased so far, so I'm not going to harp on this slide at all. You guys have done a great job. So we're not going to share your topic. This speech, for the first speech, it's going to be informed. Remember, it's just informational. You're going to inform the audience about what? Phrase your purpose clearly, and your thesis should include your main points. So here's the example. Again, this is a lightweight topic. I'm using it for example. To inform the audience about the two major forms of hula dancing, the two major forms of hula dancing that have played an important role in Hawaiian history and have developed into unique dances are the, and I can't say these names, okay, this and this. And those are your two, that's your whole speech in one sentence. Think about writing your English paper. What are you telling us? What is the thrust of your speech? And then from there, you develop your main points. The ancient hula or kahuko is a unique form of hula. There's your first main point. The kahuko plays an important role in the history of Hawaii. The awana or modern hula has played an important role in Hawaii history. The awana has developed into a unique form of dance and storytelling. Look at that. That is just the bones of your speech. Start with the bones and then fill it out. So those of you who are into fashion, you know, sometimes you start with a plain black dress and then you're going to put a scarf and earrings. Guys, you know this, guys and girls, you know that when you get something plain and you need to make it look better, like a house, you make sure that the framework is strong and sturdy, and everybody would get the main thrust of your speech from these main points that you will highlight in your speech. And remember, speech making, tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them that you told them. So in the beginning, you're going to say, I'm going to tell you about two forms of hula dancing. There's the two forms. And at the end, so today I've shared two forms of hula dancing with you. You repeat. In an English essay, you're not necessarily repeating as much, but in a speech, we're only hearing it one time. So you need to make sure your main points pop and that you tie them together. So tying them together, we're going to use a transition. So now that you know about the first type of dance, let's move on to the second. Make sure that your main points are tied with some type of transition. It could even be first, second, and third. Those are called signposts. But make sure that we understand, now that you know this, let's move on to this. Or now that I've explained this and you know what it is, let's look at the second type of dance. Help us to see that the ideas connect the dots. Where do you put a transition? I always like one before the body, between the intro and the body. And a simple one is, let's begin with my first main point, or let's begin with this, or let's start. Let people know that that's your main point. I also like between points. Now that I've told you this, let's see how it relates to that. Also, if it's a long speech, today I've told you this, how does it relate to what I'm going to tell you next? Show the connection. And then finally, before the conclusion, in summary, in conclusion, to wrap this up, people pay more attention when you say that. Make sure you're citing your sources orally. And there's a whole section on Canvas on this. I'm not going to belabor the point, but you need to tell us who the person is. Make sure you tell us if we've never heard of someone. Now, if you say, according to former President Obama, everybody knows who Obama is, or they should in college, right? But if you're going to cite someone that maybe I've never heard of, and I remember years ago, now this was years ago, somebody quoted Queen Latifah, and I thought, where is she queen of? What country? And then I found out, oh no, you know, I didn't know this. So you need to make sure, if you think the audience doesn't know who the person is, to cite their credentials. So I don't know why Queen Latifah would be cited in something that's a medical journal or something like that. You know, she's an actress and maybe she could talk about film, but I'm not sure if she should be talking about politics. Is that the best person you could cite? Maybe. I'm not going to be judgmental here, but tell us why. All right. So again, I'm going to put these slides up. You can watch the speech. I'm not going to take our time here, but this is a very interesting speech on Route 66. And some of the most simple topics can be done so well. And you can see how beautifully this woman weaves in transitions and just tells her story, delivers her speech. You will need an outline for every speech, for every major speech. And remember, you want to outline, and I'm going to, again, this is a little video of how to outline, which you can watch on your own. Two types of outlines. One is a preparation outline and one is a formal outline. You'll turn in the formal outline to me. Your preparation outline should be on note cards. Your note cards should be no more than a 3x5 card that you are going to look at. And I don't want a lot of cards, just keywords. Now, I know a lot of people will put their whole speech on a paper and read it. That is the worst. We want you to talk to us, not read to us. So using a preparation outline will be very useful, just keywords. Using a speaking outline will be perfect. The preparation or the formal outline, very important that you turn that into me beforehand, because I will give you feedback on it and say, hey, I think you need to beef up this section. Remember, if you divide your points, you should speak about each point about the same amount of time. All right, think about organizing logically. So on Canvas, you will find a sample outline. I strongly recommend you use the template. Just download it and fill it in. It tells you what to do in every section. How will you get me to listen? What will you say? How do you connect with the audience? Why do you tell us it's important? What will you tell us about why your topic is important to listen to? We're going to listen to 20 speeches. Why should we listen to yours? So there'll be a Google Doc. And that's just about it for your persuasive speech. We really want you to make sure that it's organized, it's clear, and it's interesting to the audience. Also, you want to make sure that you deliver it well. So when you're summarizing your speech, you're wrapping it all up. On Canvas, you'll see a bunch of videos on how to deliver on Zoom. Make sure you watch those. It talks about lighting. It talks about background. I cannot tell you some of the things I've seen on Zoom meetings. I'm sure you have too, but I've seen dogs, I've seen cats, I've seen babies, I've seen all kinds of things going on while people are trying to give their speech. Last semester, I had a woman, I think she shared her video or her space with like 9 people. Every time she was delivering speech, people were coming in and out. It was so distracting. So make sure you tell your family that you're delivering, and no mechanical equipment, no motorcycles outside, those kinds of things. Make sure you dress appropriately. Research shows if you dress up, you act differently. So think about prom. When people are in their nice gowns, they're usually not as rowdy as when they're in their casual clothes. So I'm not asking you to dress up. I'm just asking you not to come in, pajamas. All right? Because I've seen that. You want to make your eye contact with the camera. Now, very interesting. I just saw a video and it said, if you put your hands like this over your head and make a little triangle, that should be right in the middle of the Zoom screen. So I'm really working on that. I've had to move my chair. Right now I'm sitting on a bunch of pillows because I'm really short, right? I'm sitting on pillows. Oh, did you have a question? Go ahead. Question? Oh. All right. If you have a question, you can unmute. Otherwise, just go ahead. Who's asking? Who's asking? Uh-oh. What's happening? All right. Okay. All right. I don't know what. Oh, there we go. There we go. Emma, did you have a question? Emma, did you have a question? Okay. All right. So pick the right location, make sure you have enough light, and avoid moving objects like curtains blowing in the background, cats walking behind you, and dogs. And also on this slide deck, It'll give you more information on how to upload. I think all of you guys know how to do that by now. All right, this is our last thing we have to do. Wow, we're going to end very early. I'm going to put you guys into a breakout room, and you're going to do a 2 to 3 minute group speech. All right, so let's look at the topics, write them down. I'm going to put you in a different breakout room because there'll be 5 people in the room. Person A has to give the intro. Person B, you guys might want to take a picture of this screen, okay? Person B, main point 1. Person C, main point 2. Person D, main point 3. And person E, conclusion. You can pick any of these topics. 3 ways to save money while going to college. 3 ways robots are going to change our lives. The contributions of a famous person, you pick the person, or the advantages or disadvantages of minimalism, living simply. All right. So first you have to come together, decide on your main points, and then together as a group, you're going to present in order. So 2 to 3 minutes, the whole speech. And I will give you time for this. Questions. That's it. It's your final exam for today. Yes? Questions? Comments? No? All right. I'm going to go ahead and recreate the rooms, and we're going to have just 2 rooms, believe it or not, with the amount of people we have. There'll be 5 participants in each room. All right. Go ahead.
No,
We're not gonna lie.
I thought we were room 2.
Okay, that's us. Okay.
I think, yeah, we're room 1.
We're room 1. Okay. Sorry. That's right. Okay. In this modern day and age, we're starting to realize more and more that technology is getting more and more advanced in the recent days. Now with self-driving Teslas and even robots that construct the Teslas in the factory. Today, we're going to be talking about the different types of ways that robots could possibly take over.
So robots have technology has advanced so much in society that robots can end up taking human jobs. So for example, you have Teslas that are self-driving already. So if Teslas can be self-driven, then there would be no point. Tesla can take over Uber, which can take over Uber jobs and drive people from place to place. And there would be other, and like he said, in factories, robots can take over those jobs too.
There will also start to be a switch in our economy and what we choose to spend on. If our jobs start to switch from humans working to like more robot types, like how much money will we be spending on it and how much time and investment throughout the years? Like, will it be like for like 5-year investments or will it be like 20-year investments? How far are we willing to like spend that much money?
Not only will it affect it removing jobs, but people will have to start thinking about other careers that they can take that will involve working with the robots, such as coding or even operating some of the machinery. And a few other things are even with the self-driving Teslas, because they want to turn those into Ubers. People will be able to sit in and just kind of monitor the car, make sure that everything's working. So a few of those positions will start to open up as well.
Okay, so what we've learned so far from our informative speech is that robots have grown an insane amount over time in our society, which will in the future play out, that we citizens will begin to lose our jobs to these robots as new innovations come out, along with our economy sort of shifting as new investments come in, and new career paths will have to be like looked into as people try and follow along with the economy shifting. Thank you.
Should we start ours? Oh, give feedback. Mm, I mean, they were solid points.
I agree with what the professor typed in the chat. And yeah,
Hey, Professor, when you use transitions, do you like, so from one point, for example, for ours, we did like robots will take jobs into how they would change it. So how would you flow that in? Like what would be an example of flowing that in?
Okay, so then I'm gonna start. Okay. I'm sure we are all in college in pursuit of bettering our lives through higher education. It can be hard to afford school and support ourselves through day-to-day life. To try and ease some of the struggle that we're going through every day, here are 3 ways to cut back on spending in school.
so one of the ways to save money in college is to apply for financial aid and scholarships. With the internet, there are thousands of scholarship opportunities that are available, and many students underutilize these opportunities. So whether you're part of a club, you play a sport, or identify with a certain group, there are many scholarship opportunities that students can be eligible for.
As we all know, textbooks can be expensive in college. A way to save money is to rent them out or even have a buddy, like a friend or a sibling. Luckily, I had a sibling that I had similar classes, so I was able to share the textbooks with him.
Lastly, students can save money by not going out as much and instead meal prepping with their friends to get ready for the week.
In conclusion, we've just discussed with you the 3 best ways to save our money while going to college to try to better our education by applying for financial aid or getting scholarships if you belong to certain clubs, renting or sharing your books instead of purchasing, and meal prepping ahead of time so you're ready for the week so you don't spend money on expensive fast food restaurants. Thank you for listening.
I assume that we're giving feedback now. I wanted to say I liked how I think it was Emma who like kind of related what she was saying to like her personal experiences. And I think it made like the speech more personal and like we understood it better.
I did like how they connected it to each other every time they transitioned. We knew that the next person was talking.
And they all use pretty good examples and pretty good ways to actually save money because I know I need help. Lord need to help me.
Audience, so important. Yes, yes. All right. Good job, everybody. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, what questions do you have now?
I could kind of hear her in that one, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Me now? Am I like maybe if I get closer to my mic? Am I closer to the microphone? Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit, but
Slightly,
it's still
yeah.
kind of quiet.
We can hear you.
No one has ever called me quiet before. Okay. All right. So we lost a few people. Was it kind of boring? What happened? I know one person dropped off because their internet didn't work, but you guys is this okay for having just a very mini lecture and a couple of activities? And do you have an idea of where you're going and how to get started on the speech?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like prefer this rather than other classes because like it like brings like the class together kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thumbs up. Okay. Well, let me know if you have questions and I will stay on and I can answer them or set up an appointment with me for your speech beforehand. Don't get stressed out. You got to pass this class, okay? I have a lot of people trying to add and I'm trying to figure out who's gonna drop, because I don't want to take too many people. It'd be too hard to listen to that many speeches, all right? So stick with it. You're in, okay?
Okay.
All right. Any questions?
Okay, thank you so much.
I do have a question. Oh, sorry. You go first.
I have a quick question about like if we're doing speeches on Zoom like in the future, are we gonna be able to share our screen like if we want to do visuals, or can we make a slideshow? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask too if we can use PowerPoints when we're giving our speech.
Yeah. Yeah, but not just, you know, you are a visual. You are a visual by what you wear, what you do. You can show things, you know, you can put things up. So think about other ways, other kinds of visuals. You could do videos. You could do models. You can do your own, you know, examples or whatever. So think about, beside PowerPoint, what else could you use? Good question. What else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, under the assignment that says the first Zoom meeting extra credit, I don't see a text box where we could type.
No, because I'm just gonna put it in because I don't want anybody to write anything. I'm gonna take a picture right now of all of you, and that's gonna be, and I will input it. Okay? So hold on, I'm taking your picture right now. Hold on. There we go. All right. So I took your picture and I'll give you credit based on, hopefully you used the right name now, so I won't go crazy, right? Okay. Good question. So you guys get extra credit, and I'm also posting another extra credit opportunity, so stay tuned. It's very easy to get an A in this class, is just show up and try your best, okay? All right, other questions? No other questions?
Sorry. These Zoom meetings are every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, because we
Okay.
only have 5 weeks.
Okay.
Only 5 more times. That's it. Then we're done. Okay? Yeah.
You did say though that if we can't attend one, that we can watch the recording, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You just don't get the extra credit.
Okay.
All right. Good questions. Any other questions? All right. Don't forget to contact me if you need help with your speech. Start strong. Okay? 5 minutes of your life, you can do it. All right? All right, I'll stick around, but you guys are free to go. Actually, Nathan's the host right now. I better take him off the host.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Take care.